let's talk about it. Woody, thank you very much. To the roundtable we go. Bob Winowski, Jamie Samuelson. You can read Bob in the Detroit News. You can hear Jamie on the Riff Morning Show, guys. Mike Babcock likes to talk about whether or not his team was engaged, and maybe not right off the top today, but certainly for most of that game, they looked to be more engaged than they did at times in that Anaheim series.
Oh, absolutely, and totally different than the Anaheim series. So the Ducks, the one thing I will say, the game did not surprise me. I think the Wings are going to do that to the young Blackhawks, but at least it looks like Chicago is going to try to score with 3 or 4 lines, whereas Anaheim, they had one line that tried to score, and everybody else just tried to knock you around and beat you up.
Made for a much more up-tempo game and a much more exciting end-to-end game if you looked at it.
It does, but I think it's almost a suicide mission for the Blackhawks, and they can't change their style now. They're too far into it, but you're going to try to skate with the Red Wings?
They are.
It reminds me of the Russians and the Americans in 1980. Well, yeah, maybe you can beat them once. That's great. But they got to beat them 4 times out of 7, and I just don't think that's possible. You can't skate with the Red Wings and beat them at their own game. It kind of plays right into their hands.
But if you're the Blackhawks, is it not just a case of picking your poison? Because if they try to leave their own style, it's probably not.
You're right.
They've almost got to play the way they do, but you may be right.
Yeah.
It just may not be a way to.
I think what they have to do is hope that Avi Bulin is fantastic, and he was pretty darn fantastic today.
Here's the thing, and I had down to talk about it. The guy was terrific, and he gave up 4 goals.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of proves our point.
He wasn't terrific on that first goal by Cleary. Went right
over
his right hand. That was a
huge
huge goal because the Blackhawks came out and they controlled the first few minutes. They were skating. Chris Osgood said afterwards, talking to him, he said, boy, the first 10 minutes were like, boy, they really are fast. We better get skating or we could be in trouble. And of course the Wings kicked it in. And let's say this. That defensive pairing of Nick Lidstrom and Brian Rafalski, 39 and 35 years old, those are the guys that are going to shut down, I think, ultimately, the kids on Chicago.
They are, but again, every Red Wing team that's won the Stanley Cup is totally committed to team defense. And you saw it again this afternoon. Unbelievable back-checking, unbelievable forechecking. All the forwards are completely selling out. I mean, even a guy like Hossa, you can see how desperately he wants this. He knows what a chance this is. I mean, he's like the Wings version of Antonio McDyess. He really is. And he will put everything out there to try to win that Stanley Cup that he hasn't gotten. And that's always been why the Wings have been so strong. It isn't just about those 2 guys. And they're great, don't get me wrong. But it's because the whole team sells out to play defense.
Right, and I don't think the Blackhawks realize, nobody ever seems to realize how good the Wings play defense from the forward position.
Exactly.
Like Dan Cleary, after he scored 2 more goals, and all I want to talk about is defensive responsibility.
Well, Kane didn't have a shot today. I mean, only played 15 plus minutes. I mean, he's going to have to be more engaged if this team's going to have a chance to win this series. One key for the Red Wings, obviously, the play of Chris Osgood. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, Jennifer Hammond caught up with him after the game today. All right, Jen, thank you very much.
Let's see the pose.
Yeah, no way.
Come on.
No downward dog from me. Every time I watch Ozzy, it's like, Jamie, you're kind of a movie snob. Is it the Curious Case of Benjamin Button? I mean, he just looks like he's getting younger, and you know what? He's getting better. I mean, he's been terrific. And it's not just the number of goals that he's given up. It is the huge saves that he has made at critical times.
He has been almost acrobatic at times, flying over the
yoga stuff.
You might be onto something with the yoga. He has seen...
As you said, with a downward dog.
As you said, getting older, he's almost, seems to me like he's getting nimbler, if that's possible.
He's a big-time goaltender. Anybody who says otherwise either is predisposed against him or just is so stuck in 1998 first round against Phoenix or whatever, they can't get out of their mind. The knocking is Ozzy, he couldn't steal a playoff game. He stole Game 7. I think he did. He gave up 3 goals, so it won't look like that. They only give it to you credit when you win a game 1-0. He played fantastic in that game.
Word, though, because we all get caught up in, is he a great goalie or Hall of Fame goalie? Maybe you
just win.
Just
a big game goaltender.
Big time
whatever
goalie.
It takes. At the end of the day, what you want to do is win.
That's the adjective. Big time.
Feel free to use that in your column.
Jamie finally stumbled across it after all these years. He's a big-time goalie.
There it is.
Forget all the other
You guys stay put for just a second.
No, we're not going anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Tigers and A's today, 1-0.